if people just realized that Iran was just chilling back in the 1950s, it's just chilling. And then the British come along and they want to jack Iran. And they say, hey, America, we're training you how to do like us and take over our properties. So watch how we go jack this property. Now, this next section, we are turning into the international section. And, you know, if this was America during World War II, would have to talk about some shit going on in Germany or Eastern Europe or something like that. So at this part of the show, we got to go to the global perspective. Now, we have a little gray zone report. We're not going to play the whole thing because we're tested for time and the amount of content we have tonight, because I have a presentation coming up about the thing that we've been beating like a dead horse the whole time. But that's coming up. You got to wait for it. Trump is surrounded by Orthodox cult members. That's not my opinion. That is the title of a GrayZone video on YouTube that we are going to inspect and look at it very incredulously and see if there's any merit to the claims. The next is just a couple minutes of whoever is over on breaking points. Sorry. Trump rejected Bibi Iran war demands. Maybe for the time being. I don't know. We'll see if it's like a long-lasting thing. I think it's good if Trump doesn't go to war in Iran. We don't really have a problem with Iran. They didn't hijack any of our people lately, right? It's been a long time. It's been like 40 years since the 444-day hostages where they had the October surprise. That's where the phrase comes from. That's the original event back then. It's been a long time since we had a problem with Ayatollah Khomeini or whoever's running the joint these days, right? So, like, leave well enough alone over there. We got other problems. Let's take care of the people in this country and maybe not get into, like, the global wars of the neocons and the Rhodes Scholars and all the people that want to tell you what countries to invade next with our military might in our bank account, because they've been spending our money a lot in the 21st century for their agenda, and it's not been used to embolden our agenda for freedom. So we're going to take a look at these two clips, and then we got to start going deep dive, because by the time we get to Douglas Murray versus Douglas Murray, there won't be much left for me to address. But I'm going to take a tasty little morsel, some things said at the end of the podcast, and I'm not going to make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm going to show you where there's a mountain and he denies there's a mountain. And you can make your own decision on who to believe. And if you're into gaslighting, if you think that tastes really good, if that is your delicacy par excellence that you want to have some Douglas Murray. But otherwise, I think he should know better. And if he does, then he's being deceptive. He's being a gatekeeper. For whom? For Bibi and the founders of the place that he's been. He's been to the borders. He's seen the crossings. Maybe he'll get a right to return, like buddy pass or something like that. Anyway, we're going to have to dig into it. But this is setting the context. We have to set a frame of reference, and then you can see the details. So let's go to Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate over at the GrayZone.
I mean, you can't question some of the most the people who are most serious about Jewish identity, Jewish history, Jewish religion in academia are opposed to the genocide. And that's why you see a lot of scholars of anti-Semitism being removed, or Holocaust studies scholars being removed and attacked under this purge, because they know too much. And they want doofuses and clowns and operatives in there. And, you know, if you look at who Trump just appointed as his new anti-Semitism czar, that'll really tell you something about.
This is crazy.
Sorry. Do I have this up? Sorry, I don't have it. His new anti-Semitism czar, I don't know if I'll have time to fully explain who he is, but this is Michael Tracy. Trump's picked for a special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. By the way, why is this position existing with Doge? Like, why is Doge allowing this costly position to exist? Shouldn't this be eliminated as waste and fraud?
put this up there on the screen. There's so many things that I want to say about this. First of all, it's the headline, Trump waved off Israeli strike after divisions emerged in his administration. Let's break down this extraordinary report, clearly leaked from the administration, kind of as a screw you to Israel, and showing their plans for what they presented in the Oval Office. Quote, Israeli officials recently developed plans to attack Iranian nuclear sites in May next month. They were preparing to carry them out, and at the time were optimistic the United States would sign off. The goal of the proposal was to set back Tehran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon by a year or more. Quote, almost all plans would have required the United States help not just to defend Israel, but also to ensure that the Israeli attack was successful, making the United States a central part of the attack itself. For now, Trump has chosen diplomacy over military action. However, in his second term, he is eager to avoid being sucked into another war in the Middle East and has opened negotiations with Tehran, giving it a deadline of just a few months to negotiate a deal over its program. Earlier this month, Trump informed Israel of his decision. The United States would not support an attack, discussed it with Netanyahu when he visited Washington just last week, and told him in the Oval Office that that was not going to happen.
If people just realize that Iran was just chilling, back in the 1950s, it's just chilling. And then the British come along and they want to jack Iran. And they say, hey, America, we're training you how to do like us and take over our properties. So watch how we go jack this property. And they go in, and it's a little operation called Ajax, 1953, where they overthrew democratically elected Dr. Mohammad Mossadegh, and they installed their own people in there. And then at a later point, you got this Ayatollah Khomeini coming in, but he seems to cut a deal with the CIA inside of the CIA. The Office of Policy Coordination, the British insert inside there, they might have just arranged to have those hostages kept just long enough to get their guy, H.W. Bush, whose family was Skull and Bones Yale, funded the Nazis along with Nelson Rockefeller, getting blackmailed by a certain nation state that we're going to talk about later. That's all the same time as they're running Iran-Contra, the Enterprise, and BCCI. So there's a lot of overlap over, why Iran is our enemy. Yeah, no, it's Israel's enemy. And lately, like this Trump plan where he's like, we're not doing it. Here's how it goes. Israel's like, we're going to go in and we're going to do these things. Will you cover us? And America's like, yeah, we'll cover you. And then Israel's like, it's pretty dangerous going in there. Since you're covering us, why don't you just do the air thing and we'll stay back? And that's where Trump's like, I don't think we're going to do that. So we're not the Air Force for other countries. It's the Air Force for America. And America's interests have long been commingled, not voluntarily, with the British Empire's agendas. Our 20-year stint in Afghanistan in the 21st century, you know where that comes from? The First, Second, and Third Anglo-Afghan Wars. That means that the British Empire was in Afghanistan 3 times having war. What do you think they're having war over? It's like right around the Opium Wars were going on. Do you understand how things work? Did American soldiers watch over poppies lately? What's the National Remembrance Day in Britain? What do they wear? They wear poppies, don't they? What was H.W. Bush's name? Poppy Bush. There you go. All right. So, not saying those are related. They just all had the word poppy in it. Before we move to a much more potent block, what say ye, gentlemen?
Well, so throughout all this, America has been deploying lots of military ordinances to that region as a show of force. It's like probably part of the negotiation strategy. And I was just looking it up here, and it's like massive, like a 30% of the Air Force B-2 bombers, a bunch of B-2 bombers, a bunch of naval ships. And so it's like, and it's this base called Diego Garcia.
Oh, yeah, that's out in the Indian Ocean. And it's a jump-off point for, stealth bombers for those campaigns. It might also have had something to do with that earthquake back in like 2006, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember that stuff. Yeah. But Diego Garcia is just like another cutter, like Doha.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it creates these conditions to where it's like whether or not the United States wants to go to war, it's the ordinances are there, and it's like Israel has a tendency to do just crazy shit like off the wall, and it could force a situation where it's like you have to react. You are forced into a position, because then if Iran retaliates, and then you're in a situation where you have no choice. And if you're already embroiled in it at that level, then it's like, it's scary stuff, man.
Well, I'll point out that would put us like, if we were in a time of war because of that situation over there, then they would crack down on American freedoms and a whole bunch of censorship and espionage. There'd be a whole bunch of stuff going on. Yeah. So that would be good for the New World Order, because like freedom's been getting out of hand. And that would give them a chance to like tamp down on that. Just like a COVID situation, but a little bit different, because you're expecting COVID because they just did it. So they'll do something different next time because you're not going to see it coming, because that's how they do it. They're, they're writing the script that everyone's like being, woke up into every day, until you learn to write your own script and say, hey, their script sucks. They're planning for a bunch of nonsense. I think we can do better. Unless you got the learned helplessness, and then you're just like, but it's so convenient.
Yeah, and like
learning to love your tyranny, so convenient.
Yeah, exactly. And well, the parts I have read of Tragedy and Hope, where it talks kind of a little bit about like the lead up, I think, to it was like World War I, where it's like once an army gets mobilized, it's like, that's a lot of resources to put all those, once you put the troops and they start marching and they start moving forward.
Once you order the uniforms, Scott.
Yeah.
Once you order the new camos.
Yeah, it's like that. Once the trajectory is set, it kind of happens, and it just has its own rhythm, and it goes out of control, and you can't really pull it back at a certain point. It's almost like we're seeing some of that right now. And so all it takes is one little spark in the tinderbox, and it's off to the races. So.
And you can kind of look at the consequences and see, like, of the 7 countries that Wesley Clark talked about that they wanted us to invade after 9/11, Iran's the only one left on that list, right? These are all countries that didn't have Rothschild-owned central banks inside them. And you can almost see the chess pieces moving on the grand chessboard, as Zbigniew Brzezinski would call it, whereby by sanctioning Russia started formulating closer ties with China and building their own equivalent financial system to get around the sanctions, right? And so they also have alliances with Iran. And so, like Scott said, you can see this being like this innocuous thing. Oh, we're just attacking the Houthis because they're attacking this thing. Oh, we're just bombing Iran on behalf of Israel. No biggie. But it sets off this chain of events because of the alliances Iran has with China, with Russia. And then that locks in place the whole political Zionism versus religious Islam and all its associated countries. And then it's like off to the races for people who are fooled enough to give their energy to thinking that any of that is a good idea.
Well, I mean, who brought the idea of taking over all those countries to the public awareness? You mentioned Wesley Clark. And what's he known for? He's a nice guy. He's the Supreme Allied Forces Commander of NATO. Right? He's a nice guy. Look at that. He's smiling in his picture. Wesley Clark is a retired United States Army officer. He graduated as valedictorian of the class of 1966 at West Point and was awarded a record scratch Rhodes Scholarship to the University of Oxford. And I've never even been there, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, because if we go here, look, Rhodes Scholarship. It's a real thing. It's an international postgraduate award for students not of the United Kingdom to study in the United Kingdom and take on their ideas for world empire. The scholarship is open to people of all backgrounds from around the world. Established in 1902, it is one of the oldest graduate scholarships in the world and one of the most prestigious international scholarship programs. Its founder, Cecil John Rhodes, wanted to promote unity among the English-speaking nations. You want to talk about institutionalized racism? How about these white dudes, Freemasons of the British Empire, not Americans, saying they're going to take over the world, and then they get a plan to trick America, because if they told us, we did not have informed consent. If they told us what they're up to, I don't think we'd be guarding their bases around the world still, okay? We'd probably use some of that military force to remove the empire from a thing anymore. Like, they still have a king over there, right? Like, the freedom not spread across the ocean? Is water something that is, keeps freedom from spreading? I don't know. It's been a couple hundred years. Y'all still trying to play take over the world. It's a stupid game. Stop it. or people are trying to live here, raise families. So we got this Rhodes Scholarship thing, and it wants to make the English-speaking peoples of the world in charge of everyone else, especially the people of color. It is a racist idea embraced by people like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. While he's on a cocaine binge one time, he's like, hey, let's get America back into the empire. And then all these guys are like, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And then Cecil Rhodes is like, I'll leave some Rothschild money to it and leave them in charge of the scholarship fund. Because it was the Rothschilds in Britain who founded the Cecil Rhodes Scholarship Program. It's really a Rothschild scholarship, but they put Rhodes's name on it. Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah,
Every time you hear Rhodes Scholar, just think Rothschild Scholar.
Yeah,
because they founded the scholarships. They are doing the bidding. Wesley Clark, Rachel Maddow, George Stephanopoulos, Strobe Talbot, Pete Buttigieg. There's a whole bunch of them running around. That's not American. Keep your Anglo agenda out of here. You want to take over the world and speak English? Have at it. I'm not changing how we speak over here, but we don't need to be part of taking over the world and taking away other people's freedom because it's antithetical to Americanism. And I have been here, so I will talk about this throughout the evening. But Cecil Rhodes, that's a Rothschild scholarship.
Yeah, in his last will and testament, he keeps referring to X, like a person named X. And I'm like, okay, well, who's this X guy? So I did a little research, and it's none other than Nathan Rothschild, right? There you go.
I have it upstairs because it's a more precious book. In the history of the Rhodes Trust. I mean, even if you go to Rothschild, look, let's do it live. Watch. Let's see if I do it live. Can I do it live? Is it too much? Do I have a button for it? Where's it go? RothschildArchive.org. Look, I have it on my Stream Deck. All right, so we go up here. Exhibitions. Timeline. And the part of the timeline that we need to find is 1902. Now, you see there's no entry in 1902. But there was an entry in 1902 on this page before they changed it because they don't like me talking about their page all the time. So they have made changes to what is up here doing it live, right? But if we were to use the Clip Genie, could we just search 1902 in Clip Genie?
Yeah, let me check.
Because there is reference. In fact, if I just let's go back to the top of the RothschildArchive.org, a place you should never, ever go. Never go. Let's search in here for Rhodes scholarships. Do we have results?
Now, one of the limitations I find with Clip Genie is when you say a number, you have to spell it out phonetically, which we need to address that.
All right, so it has been removed from the current day RothschildArchive.org website, but they do talk about Edmund de Rothschild in Palestine. In the late 19th century, Baron Edmund de Rothschild supported land purchases in Palestine and Israel. Well, it wasn't Israel back then, right? His large donations lent significant support to the movement in its early years, which helped to lead to the establishment of the State of Israel. I wonder if we might learn something about that coming up. But anyway,
I found one 1902 reference, and it's from February 2024, and it's the exact same page you're looking at right now.
Yeah, right here.
Genie. Yep.
In the last will and testament of Cecil John Rhodes. But that's not where it lists the Rothschilds as starting it. And I know it's in the history of the Rhodes Trust, as well as it used to be on Rothschild.org webpage. And can you search history of the Rhodes Trust? Because I would have mentioned the title of the book when I brought it into evidence.
History of Rhodes Trust?
The Rhodes Trust. I don't know. The Rhodes Trust. We're doing it live. This is how you learn stuff, kids. List of Rhodes Scholars. Fulbright Program. Marshall Scholarships. They got a lot of scholarships there. Because the Fulbright scholarships are just American Rhodes Scholarships. Because Fulbright was a Rhodes Scholar. So they have a lot of these types of scholarships going around, influencing a lot of things that people don't see clearly because it has the name Rhodes attached to it instead of Rothschild, who's like Rothschild family funded Rhodes. Rhodes went and did what he did, and in his last will and testament, he leaves it back to the people that gave it to him. And then to prove that, they set up the Rhodes scholarships at Oxford. So if I need to go upstairs and find that book during the next media block, I will, because I think receipts are cool.
I found one where it's talking
helps
about
people
it.
get past their disbelief. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have a clip here where you're referencing it, but you're looking at Dope Inc., the book Dope Inc.
Yeah, Dope Inc. would not be my reference on that.
Yeah.
I would consider these other things primary references. Dope Inc. would reference a primary reference. That'd be a secondary reference. Primary references are where it's at, unless you're Douglas Murray, and then all that stuff is just in the sewer. Joe, why are you letting the sewer? Oh, Ian Carroll, you let him talk on your podcast. Why are you when someone sits at a table like this at you, this is them like manspreading and trying to like be alpha male. He's not. He went in and domineered the whole conversation so that, you know, Dave Smith didn't wipe the floor with them with really good arguments, which is what he's all about. And Murray's characterization of Dave Smith as like someone who's only recently becoming, you know, interested in international events. It's like Scott Horton and Dave Smith really sharp on world events. And I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of us read Scott Horton's books, and Scott has talked about the Houthis for over a decade. Like, this is not a surprise, any of this stuff that's going on today that you see in the news, because if you understand the history, then, you know, you have you have a contextual understanding. So the stuff's not so surprising. You're not always like, oh, are they going to do the thing? It's like, no, dude, they're going to keep running for the end zone. That's what they're like. They called out their goal. They're running for the end zone. And instead of us trying to chase them and catch them, how about we just go to the end zone? Stand there and guard it. And don't let them get in there. Guard your end zone. It's what it said outside the Diddy parties. That's how they claimed informed consent. But that's just, you know, I don't want to talk about prosecutorial argumentation right now because it's a lot of syllables. You're supposed to talk in fifth grade language these days for people to understand. I think you, the audience, you need to be spoken to at least at high school graduate level. Otherwise, we're not going to grow and catch up to the people who wrote all these copious books. Like when you look at like Heinz Kissinger and or like what he put out over his books, it's like they're taking shit over and they're feeling good about it because they're like, boom, goal. You know, they're getting first downs without any resistance. I think we need to show up and play a little defense. That's all I'm saying. No offense, but we need to play defense.
Well, speaking of primary sources and scholarly level, like, I don't know if it gets more primary than the UK Parliament's own website, but if you check there, there's two occasions where Lord Rothschild spoke before the British Parliament. And once was, of course, in appreciation for the Balfour Declaration, right, in the 1920s. And then again was April 10th, 1946.
The milk.
Victor Rothschild, third Baron.
Oh, that's the
pasteurization of milk.
Yes, the pasteurization of milk. That's how it came into culture, and that's why you can't get milk from a farmer because it's dangerous. Because Victor Rothschild, who was also a fifth spy in the Cambridge spy ring, right? Like the fact that Victor Rothschild is in the Cambridge Five, and everyone's just like Kim Philby. It's like, bro, Victor Rothschild was in the fucking spy ring, bro. Like that's the communist Anglo MI6 establishment that was. No, it's not a big deal, I guess. Definitely don't read a book called The Fifth Man about Victor Rothschild, a very famous spy who does not exist in the world of Douglas Murray.
Of course, I can't verify any of this because I haven't been there, but I have seen the movie Being There with Peter Sellers.
Wow.
And Shirley MacLaine.
Peter Sellers is always funny. And Shirley MacLaine had a rough ride. There's a lot of things going on over there. In Hollyweird. Yeah. So the events of the Rothschilds are not significant, nor are they substantial. You should never look into them. You should always just trust the experts, bro. Trust the experts and keep getting the same results you've been getting from trusting the fucking experts. But if you could just be so brave, so bold, you don't even need the Onion router. You could just go to RothschildArchive.org and you could peruse the timeline. You could discover things I have not even read for myself, though I've tried to read just about everything they had to offer on that because I was like, this is not this page right here. Like, they're not going to have that up forever. At some point, they're going to stop bragging about all the accomplishments that they had domineering over the British Empire, which heretofore has been like a big objective, opponent to America's freedom. But then you got this international banking family that tagged in at the end of the 1800s with the British Empire. And they're like, hey, we can help you get that world domination. And it's just going to cost you 10% and some compound interest. And they're like, oh, British Israel World Federation. We could do it. How can we do it? We need America back in the empire, please. Cecil Rhodes leaves a last will and testament to that effect, stating that bluntly, he would like to create a secret society. Technically, he says a society, parentheses, a secret one. Okay? If you want to speak like Yoda the whole time, but it's a secret society based on the tenets of the Jesuits, who were another kind of shadowy, powerful organization. And he said replace the Catholic Church with the British Empire. Like, he was just copy pasting shit. It's not an original agenda to take over the world. He's just like, take what the Pope's doing and put our name on it. Okay. And then I'm sure at some point the Pope's like, hey, they're playing chess on the grand chessboard while we're trying to live our lives amidst them making these moves and like, oh, let's crush this country. Oh, let's turn off the stuff in this country. Let's bomb this country. Those people that are on the smashing end of our weapons, like, they never did anything to us. We are the real people living here. Those other people are just born into the technocracy, and they're playing their individual parts, right? A switch is going to do the switch thing. A knob's going to do the knob thing. They're knobs, is what I'm saying.
Take off, you knob.
Take off, you knob. Only for the people who have seen Strange Brew might even find that funny. It's a jelly. Stuff like that. It's just very Strange Brewish. All right, so the Strange Brew that is the Rothschild family can be found in their archive, RothschildArchive.org. So good. Look, this is Lord Rothschild. He's pulling his carriage with zebras. These are real pictures. These are not like some snarky, conspiracy, I'm going to catch them. Like, they're just showing you, look, we redraw the maps. Big places. It's called the Sykes-Picot line. That was British and the French. The banking families from two countries drew a line across the Middle East, and that's why we don't have peace. I tried to answer that question 25 years ago. I'm like, why is there not world peace in the Middle East over there? Maybe if I look at the problem, I could help to solve it. And then I saw it's a purposely created problem. They're not trying to solve it. They're trying to colonize and ethnically cleanse and genocide right in front of you. It's like a bunch of cow stuff, cow shit, but they put like a Febreze in front of you. They're like, no, it's fresh. No, dude, the genocide's not fresh. It's very old and dated. It's very 20th century ethnic cleansing. We should not be doing the things today that Ben Gurion and Chaim Weizmann and all the people back in the 20th century were like, hey, let's get winters here in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Let's move to the desert. And they got a plan together. And that plan existed way before Tiny Mustache Man. And we will get to the evidence because remember earlier tonight, if you have a long enough attention span, you'll remember that Steve Biko was a socialist. Well, the founder of utopian socialism is going to take the stage right before I take... I don't even want to say his name anymore. I'm going to take the dude's argument out, and I'm going to treat it like it should be treated. But first, we're going to have to learn about the father of utopian socialism because he was using secret societies and the Freemasons to infiltrate and take control so that they could reestablish Israel. And that was after the British Empire thought of it, but before the Rothschilds funded it. So we're going to have to untangle the enigma by learning a little bit of history. And the father of utopian socialism and his 1861 book, right around the American Civil War, by the way, is a very, very interesting piece of history. And I will talk about it, and I have been there. So before we get to that, let's go to Jimmy Dore show.
Hey, Rich, can I jump in real quick, man?
Yeah, please do.
I'm so sorry. So, I can't, dude, I'm really excited about your presentation, but I got this.
Your Airbnb in it, dude. You got to tap out.
Well, more so, I got a big thing in the morning, dude. I'm going in InfoWars Studio, the Harrison Smith American Journal. Show starts at 8 a.m., so I got to roll up in there, do my thing. So I might slide out. That's all right.
Or We could go till 8 a.m. and you can invite Harrison to just come on the show.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Well, actually, Rob Dew is hosting. He's stepping in, and so I think that's why he was able to pull some strings and get me on, dude. So
good luck, dude.
Rob is just the man, dude. So
he is the man, and he interviewed me in the InfoWars studios 12 years ago.
There you go.
And he was taller than I thought he would be.
He's like six. Right? He's probably about your height, about 6'2".
He's taller than me. No, he's like he's like 6'5", dude. And PJW is taller too. Like
wow.
You can't tell. Max Blumenthal, also very tall.
Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna be talking Clip Genie. I'm definitely gonna be shouting the show out here and be like, this is where we cut our teeth with the Clip Genie on Grand Theft World, and it'll be in my lower third and all that good stuff. So tune in, you guys, tomorrow. Harrison Smith morning, or Rob Dew covering for Harrison Smith on the American Journal, Infowars.com.
And the phrase you can search on Clip Genie tomorrow morning, if it works, do we have it uploaded soon enough? Is like two Rothschilds in the land of Israel. And it will take them right to the part where we talk about that presentation.
Well, mainly, so we have an Alex Jones Clip Genie now. It's official and it's live. So we're talking that, but I'm going to be shouting out the Grand Theft World Clip Genie. I'm going to be shouting out Grand Theft World. I'm going to get
It's only fair because I've copied Alex so many times that he can copy us.
Exactly. So it'll be fun.
Not a video game show.
But
I'm Grand Theft Auto.
Exactly. So anyway, but I'm definitely going to catch the rest of this episode on the flight home, and much appreciated, guys. So thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.
Very classy that you would make it while you're on the road. I appreciate the extra effort.
Pleasure. Of course.
Best of luck to you with Harrison Smith. I really enjoy his report, and I also enjoy that Rob's going to interview you during the Harrison Smith hour.
Dude, I'm pumped. It's going to be awesome. And anyway, I'll just say it may be one of the last times anybody gets to go to InfoWars Studio.
I know, dude.
From what I'm hearing.
Grab me some souvenirs just in case.
See what I can do.
But I'll keep buying T-shirts and supporting the team.
Yeah, it sounds like. Well, I mean, I'm just not gonna say anything. But it might be the end of an era, you guys. Like, for real.
Well, it's just the evolution to the next level.
To the next level, to the left of. Yeah. They're just saying like basically, this was in public. We were talking about this, I guess. So it's like basically they said like, look, we can fight this forever. They're all in like bankruptcy, and all the money's going to this trust that's going to the Sandy Hook family.
Clean break it, man. Just go do.
Or do we keep fighting it, or we can just be free to just explode? Because the second it gets shut down, it's just gonna, that's a PR nightmare for the establishment, and so they're gonna leverage every ounce of that to be like, well, the government took our freedom of speech, so how do you like us now?
And wait till people find out he's still on broadcast.
Yeah, it's going to be 10 times bigger than before.
Right. When he got censored back in like 2018, everyone's like, well, he's off the internet. It's like, no, fucking never broke stride. You guys didn't even stop him from doing his daily show. You didn't do, like, all you did is erode the 20th century model that he had evolved. But now you're pushing Alex Jones. You're forcing him to go into a 21st century model. What if he uses interplanetary file sharing systems and you can't delete and censor him anymore? What if he gets all like content saved up and like Clip Genied up, and it's just like Alex Jones everywhere in the year 2088, and you never fucking stopped him?
Yeah, we were talking about all that stuff. I was telling him about IPFS and all that crap, and how, like, as long as it's like third party, because they're coming after their content. They're going to basically say InfoWars is gone, and we own you're not allowed to own InfoWars content. But then they're saying if it's third party owned, and I'm like, well, hey, Clip Genie, baby, like, let's get the whole archive in, And
if you're what is the store? AlexJonesStore.com.
Yeah.
If you're the VIP, you get access to all those archives. I downloaded all the archives, and they are free to air. They are not copyrighted.
Exactly.
So people have the ability to just repopulate Alex Jones, and then they can content safe that and make it go everywhere.
Exactly. So yeah, dude. So anyway, I'll keep you guys
And it's not
posted.
just about Alex. It's about the guests. It's about the books, the documentaries, the research, the links,
100%.
the documents, all the things that came through that show. It's not just about the one dude who was instrumental in making it happen. Big cojones.
Exactly. So much love, you guys. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'll keep you posted. All right. Thanks, guys.
Parachute out safely.
Bye-bye.
Watch the propellers. No, it's a jet.
Have a good night, Scott.
This is a jet plane show. Yeah, have a good night. Twice a year, I teach a course called Autonomy. It's a 12-week course. It teaches leadership, entrepreneur skills, executive skills, all these types of things that I saw were taken out of our education system in order to make the schooling or indoctrination system that we've all probably went through. And it has served us well enough to be interchangeable cogs in the machine of the globalists.
But if we want a homestead, if we want write our own ticket, work from home job, work from anywhere type of situation, they're not exactly handing those out at the end of college. They give you a piece of paper and they're like, good luck. So reality is dropping us off here, but the demands of reality are up here. So I created autonomy to help people close that gap for themselves so they can level up their skills to the demands of the situations that life is putting in front of us presently. Life's demands of intellect and understanding precision and complexity are ever increasing. The schooling didn't prepare us for it. The media is not going to do anything but reinforce what schooling prepared us for. And so we're going to have to take a leadership position and take steps off the beaten path to kind of blaze our own trail in life. What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions and we can get into the show and we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Come on, man. No.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man. Come